Hey y'all, welcome back to Krista's Kitchen. So today I've got y'all set up a little bit different to get this started. Hopefully we can cut down on the time of the video a little bit if I just go ahead and jump straight to it. So what we're making today, as you saw by the title, is a Snickerdoodle cake. And it's very, very easy. Pretty much everything in it is going to be household ingredients, but it is so yummy, especially with a good cup of coffee. But we're going to jump right into it and get things going. So the first thing we're going to do is put in a cup of butter into our stand mixer and get this beating on low. We're going to let it mix by itself for about a minute. And then after it's kind of mixed around, we're going to add in our sugars. But while that's going, we're going to make our little crust topping. So we're trying to multitask so we can get through it. Like I said, it's not hard. You just got a few steps. So I'm going to lock it in place and just turn this on. So you should use softened butter. As you can see, my butter is probably not as soft as I thought it was. But just let that mix around for about a minute. And we're going to go ahead and make our topping for the cake itself. So you're going to use a cup of sugar. And this is going to be that crusty coating kind of stuff that's going all the way around. So. And about a teaspoon, well, about 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. I really like cinnamon though. And we're just going to mix this around. And this cinnamon sugar mixture is what we're going to coat in the bottom of our bundt pan in just a minute. Y'all know I told y'all I love using a bundt pan. I think it just makes it so pretty. Excuse me. And that's what we're going with tonight. So, step 1, all done. I'm going to turn that up just a little bit so it'll knock some of that butter off. Make sure our bowl is in nice and tight and get it mixed around. While that's going, we're going to go ahead and spray our bundt pan and then coat it in that cinnamon sugar mixture that we just made. Again, this is making that crusty texture on the outside that's so yummy. So I'm doing an extra thick coat so all of this will stick really well. If I didn't tell y'all, we've got the oven heating at 325. I'm just going to take my measuring spoon and just kind of sprinkle it around the edges. Now mostly this part right here just want to get up to the top, because we can toss the pan around and get the bottom of it coated. And so we can get this all the way to the tippy top. And this is absolutely not a diet cake. I'm going to let that sit for just a second, and we'll keep tossing it around in here. You see I'm just kind of moving my pan, and you'll let all the excess settle around it, because again, that's what's going to create that crunchy coating. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit more on this part. Make sure that center is well coated. Alright. I'm going to stop this for just a second. We're going to add in our sugars that's actually going into cream with the butter. So we need another, and like I said, y'all, this is not a diet recipe. We need another cup of white sugar, and then we're going to use a cup of brown sugar also. white sugar. And our brown sugar. And we're just going to cream these together for about 5 minutes until it's well mixed and it's that soft, creamy texture. Okay, y'all, so our 5 minutes is up. I'm just going to scrape down the edges of the bowl. I'm going to start adding in our next ingredients. So you may have seen that I pulled off a little bit of the cinnamon sugar mixture from the pan. Oh, this butter's still kind of hard to work with. You might let it go for another minute. See if we can let it soften a little bit more. But you saw that I pulled off a little bit of the cinnamon sugar mixture. I'm going to take that excess that's left in the bowl and just sprinkle it about halfway through the cake once we start pouring it. So let's mix this for about another minute, just so we can see if we can soften it. And just scraping it down the sides again. Alright. And now it's time to add our eggs. So we're going to do this one at a time, and we want to make sure that we're getting it all incorporated. We put in 3 eggs, and we're going to do just a few splashes of vanilla. Let that mix around for a minute. I'm going to scrape down the sides and let this go just another little bit so it can all get mixed around before we add in the flour. We want all of our ingredients to be well mixed. Now, I saw something recently where usually I put my baking soda and baking powder in with my flour and mix that all together before I put it in. But I saw this chef had recommended putting your baking soda and baking powder in with your wet ingredients. So I'm going to try that and see how it works. And let that mix again for a little minute. So while that's going, I'm going to add in a teaspoon of baking powder and a half of a teaspoon of baking soda. Alright, so now here comes the fun stuff, the flour. We're going to add in 2.5 cups of flour. So we're going to do our half cup first. Be careful with your flour because it can go everywhere if you add it in too fast. You see the dust already coming up on it. The next thing, well, our last ingredient that we're adding is some sour cream. You want about a cup of sour cream. And this is just going to add a bunch of moisture. Y'all know, if you've watched some of my other cakes, you know I like sour cream in my cakes. I don't like sour cream in my food, but in my cakes, I love it because it helps make them nice and moist. So I'm using about a half of a container of this little sour cream. So we're going to crank it up just a little bit. Alright. I'm going to scrape down all the edges. I want to make sure everything's really well incorporated. We still have some of the buttery, sugary bits at the bottom. Alright. I'm going to let that go for a spin. Just, hey, it'll be, we have some new kittens in our house. Alright, we're going to go let that go for just a minute or so again. Pull this all off of here. And Eleanor's not here tonight. She would normally love licking the beaters. And yes, I know it has raw eggs in it. And you worry about children and raw eggs. Tell you, my children have been exposed to just about everything. So if raw eggs is the worst that they do, come at me. Like, gotta enjoy some things in life, and licking the beaters is something simple to definitely enjoy. So we're just going to take about half of this dough or this cake mixture and just drop it down in the bottom of the pan. I'm getting it all around. And just kind of flatten it out just a little bit. Y'all remember that cinnamon sugar that we used to sprinkle the outside? We're going to make a little swirl layer so that, excuse me, when this bakes up, it will create a little swirl through the center. And yes, this is a lot of sugar, but it's a very good cake. There we go. And now the rest of the mixture. I'm just kind of dollop it. And there we go. Don't waste a drop. Alright, and then we're just going to kind of level this out and it'll go in the oven. And get it all spread around. Okay, y'all. So this is, like I said, going in the oven at 325, and then it's going to cook for about an hour, 55 minutes to an hour. Just check on it because everybody's oven is different. So if things normally burn in your oven, then you might need a little bit lower temperature. If things seem overdone, you might pull it out before then. But this is our Snickerdoodle cake going in the oven, and I'll see y'all back in about an hour. Hey y'all, so our Snickerdoodle cake is all done. We're going to flip it out onto the pan, slice it, and see how it turned out. It's still pretty warm, but it's been sitting out of the oven for about 20 minutes, so we should be okay to handle. I usually flip it over before it's been sitting this long, but I wanted to make sure it cooled a lot more. So I'm just going to take it and flip it. If we can give a little tap on the bottom, just kind of loosen any spots. And then let's see. Oh, I might have waited too long. Here, let's see. Let's use a little butter knife. Kind of loosen it up around the edges. This is why I usually flip it out a little bit sooner, but got busy, and I'm sure y'all know how that goes. Right there. Okay, let's try this again. We'll put our plate on top and flip it. Oh, there we go. I felt it release. Perfect. So, you'll see it's got the little crust on the top. And since that's got a little crack in that side, we're just going to slice right through there. You'll see how soft this is. Here, let's pull a little plate out. I want y'all to see how this is. Which slice? Oh, right there. See if I can stand it back up for y'all without breaking it. You can see that little center swirl of cinnamon and sugar. You've got that thick crust, and it's nice and moist and soft in there. Perfect with a cup of coffee or milk if you like milk. I'm not a milk fan, but I'm going to post some pictures and let y'all see what it looks like close up. Hopefully you give it a try, and hopefully you enjoyed coming along for this. It's very delicious. And you can even tell yourself it's a breakfast cake if you want to. But let me know if y'all give it a try, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.